Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining this session. I am Rajesh Malhotra. I work with IBM in the data and AI technology space, and today we are here to discuss a topic on responsible and ethical AI. Right? I'm sorry, I was waiting somewhere else, so sorry for getting this session delayed. Apologies for that. As we heard today, distinguished leaders spoke about the relevance of AI, and that every industry is going to be impacted with AI, right? Customer service, or the way you deliver citizen delivery, or maybe health. However, one aspect which came out very predominantly across was that we will run AI safely and responsibly. And I think for that purpose, we are assembled here, and we have our distinguished speakers here. Dr. Amit Oberoi from IIT Delhi, and a Vice Chancellor from the JNU, Jodhpur Law University.
Jodhpur.
Yeah, NLU Jodhpur. Yeah. And so possibly I'll just begin with your, how do you singly possibly say what responsible AI means to you, and how do you think we treat this subject?
Yeah, hello, check. Yeah, thank you so much. So very good afternoon to the ladies and gentlemen present here, and fellow panelists. Hello, ma'am. I'm Dr. Amit Oberoi, and my area of research is in conversational AI, emotional detection from AI, and I'm working on concept of emotional mobility and conscious AI. So, when you look at, when we talk about responsible AI relates more with putting checks and balances in place, certain governance mechanisms in place, so that ethical AI is enabled. And therefore, when you look at ethical AI, you actually need to understand that what actually is ethics, and it is very complex. Because when I look at it personally, if you go through the literature, it'll all talk about fairness, transparency, unbiased data sets, and look at privacy of people, look at etc., a lot of other things. But when I distance myself from the whole thing and I look at the kind of research that I have done, ethics and morals have always been our dilemma since ages, right? And human beings will always do things with self-interest. Similarly, nation states, corporates will always follow self-interest. And there is a concept of having a look at ethics from the point of view of, there are many ethics which are immoral ethics. Similarly, there are many morals which are unethical. I think Mahabharata, you go back to Ashwatthama story, right? You come to know. And when I distance myself and I say it's so much of effort and people are talking about responsible AI, so there is a global outlook. They say, okay, we must put certain mechanisms in place so that the lower strata of the society are not exploited. But it's very difficult to ensure the kind of mechanisms that we are talking about. So it's a huge challenge. And why we are talking about all this right now so carefully now is because of the fact that the present algorithms can understand context. And because they can understand context, there's been a transformative change. And that change has brought about the evolutionary systems which are going to be autonomous. And the recent advent of this transformer architecture, which understands context, has led to a number of applications which are impacting daily lives. Of course, data is also there. So, in slightly long answer, so I feel it's a very vast subject, it's a very complex subject, and it is actually a huge challenge to deliver responsible AI the way we feel it, though we articulate it, but it is difficult to implement it on ground. Thank you.
It's working? Yeah. So thank you very much for the question. I would start with one of the cases which have recently been filed in Calcutta High Court. The case is filed by IndiaMart e-commerce company against OpenAI for its ChatGPT. So the petitioner says the allegation is that unlawfully from the search engine of ChatGPT, it's not, IndiaMart is not selected, it's excluded. Right? So when anyone wants to search, its rival companies, they are visible. Other B2B e-commerce companies, all of them, they are visible. But selectively, it has been discriminated and it is not found in the search engine of the ChatGPT. Now, the problem here is that who decided that who will be selected, who will not be selected, right? So the court said that prima facie, it appears to be a case of discrimination, and the IndiaMart was asked to again send this information to OpenAI to seek their response, and the court had admitted the case. Now this is one such example which has been recently been taken up. Now if we look at technology as having a moral, so we know that technology has no moral compass, right? The system, the person who designs it, and the system who deploys it actually gives the morality and understanding about what it is going to do. So if you look at UNESCO recommendations, the first pillar it says is that human dignity should be there in the development of any technology. Right? So that means that when we look at the human dignity as such, human dignity will also depend from culture to culture. Right? Now, right now, all the technologies that are being developed are developed by Global North. Similarly, all the ethical parameters, the legal framework, regulatory framework is also coming from Global North. We are sitting in Global South. Do we have any say in that? So far, we have not decided what we want to say about it. So the point is that the morality will depend upon the values of the system which has generated or created the technology. Right? So what we say that we should follow deontological framework. What does that mean? This means that humans will be treated as they will be the ends in themselves, right? Humans can never be used as, points or digital points for algorithmic, decision making. That's, I think, is most important, that when we are going for social scoring or when we are going for manipulative technology and we are putting our vulnerable children or elderly into these kind of manipulative decisions or exploitation, I think we cannot accept, at least in India, because for us the morality standards have been non-negotiable when it comes to our elders or children. So I think the values depend upon the system and we have to see what we are adopting, customization, and I think that it is required, because AI is entering into the total domain. As a consumer, we are vulnerable. As a corporate law professor, I find decision making by companies, not acceptable. As a person dealing with the law and justice administration, I find we are in a very difficult phase right now. I think in next other questions I would like to answer more.
Sure. So as a follow-up question to you on that, right? If there are, it is so difficult to kind of govern AI for the purpose of being responsible or ethical, right? In such a case, coming from law, do you think that enacting a law in that, for AI is going to kind of be a very important one, and it's currently a gap in the, national framework? And
so,
what do you think, could be the roadmap for this then?
Okay, so I anticipated this question. And then I started looking at what are the dominant AI conversations these days. Which law will apply? That's a question you asked me, right? And what the regulator will require. what will be permitted, what will be prohibited, right? And then what kind of disclosures will be mandatory and what will not be mandatory, right? I think these are all second order questions. The first order question depends upon, is from the side of the organizations. Do they understand the technology, power, risk, and responsibility? I think first this we have to look into. Law and compliance will follow later on, right? The question is about the governance of AI. Recently, we have also come up with guidelines on AI governance in the month of December only. So the first of all, the organizations need to answer this question that, whether AI system should be, used at all, right? And who can override the concerns, whether what is important, efficiency, growth is important, or, ethics are important. And these are some of the questions that come to my mind. And also, the most important question is that who is taking the decision? For example, let's take climate justice considerations. That's the example that comes to my mind is, so the data for climate is collected through remote sensing, right? What else? We have AQIs, and what else we have, for example, pollution levels. All those things, our data are collected. And on the basis of that, the decision is taken by AI, right? So how the justice will be administered in this particular case? Because the decision is taken by an artificial intelligence, right? Not by the human intelligence. So how do we ensure that justice is administered in this particular case? So for me, the question, there is a question that I have written is that how the decision is taken vis-a-vis why the decision is taken. Then who has taken the decision? Now if AI has taken the decision, then when it comes to, for example, climate justice, that may be all right, but when it comes to criminal offense, if the decision is taken by AI, there is no human intervention, right? There are set principles of, criminal justice administration. There are principles, for example, if an injury comes to a person through, software usage or any technology usage, so there is a black box. We don't know how that decision has come up. It's totally opaque. So where the complaint will lie, how the petition will be taken up, right? Then he doesn't have any information. So should we have our legal system talking about rebutable presumptions? Okay, you have given the AI the burden of to prove that your technology has no flaws and has not caused any loss to any consumer or any victim, lies on the technology provider only. There are many serious questions when justice administration has to be covered, because we are dealing with humans, right? So human intervention at every stage will be required.
Sure.
Right?
So that's an important intervention. So moving away from that, right? So what I understand here, I'm taking away the point from you is that there are autonomous decisions to be made, there are human decisions to be made, and the human judgment, where there is human judgment, you better leave it with human beings, right? So this now puts me to a question which possibly is pointing to you on designing systems, right? So we heard ma'am say that you look at AI where AI belongs, and don't use it everywhere, So which means when you're designing AI systems, right? How do you systemically design to use autonomy of the AI systems and bring in the discretion of the human intelligence?
See, thanks for the question. So, actually, if you step back and see, we are always in the reactive mode, right? There are people, then there is technology, and technology has got developed. And now we realize the aha moment, this is what tech can do. And now we need to understand what is ethics and how do we ensure that this is ethical, and therefore we are talking about responsible AI. And now, let's have a look at, from the tech standpoint, what an engineer should be able to do. So there are many methods of ensuring this. There are startups like OpenAI, AI closely related with Infosys, who are looking at, giving solutions for out-of-court settlements, because if you see the court cases which are held up in the nation, right? And if you have, for simple decisions, if you can employ certain AI systems which are well curated, and you have certain guardrails in place. So as a tech guy, I can tell you that it'll be fairly accurate, right? For simple problems. But when you're looking at certain issues, it's always a human first approach. And today, as of today, I talk in tech, there has to be a human in the loop. Has to be a human in the loop. It can help you to make the decisions faster. But let me digress a little bit from it. The more you ensure governance, the more regulatory issues you put up, you have to be very careful, because what are you going to do in a particular strata of society or a community or a nation or a particular area? You're going to curtail the innovation, curtail the way algorithms, models, and tech will develop. And take the example of the third dimension or drones. We were very scared initially when the drones came up. We were not allowing them to fly anywhere. The drone solutioning in India got a bit delayed. That's my personal perception, right? Similarly, it's a very close call, whether you over-regulate or you look at it. So I think you have to distance yourself from the whole thing and look at certain deeper issues. The deeper issues is, we have to have a core group which understands which is the next tech. If I tell you in 2050, this is going to be the tech, and you don't think that it is science fiction and laugh at me, then, the world is wrong. So what I want to tell is that we are always in the reactive mode. Okay, we are looking at solutioning now. We have to have groups, and if we have to look at our community, our culture, we have to protect our data. We have to think forward. What is the next tech coming in? How will it impact us? And we have to be in the self-preservation mode. Responsible AI globally has been articulated, and there are certain global norms for it. But every culture has its own values, own ethics. And therefore, for every culture, there would be something which is slightly different for its own models and its own curated data sets.
Yeah. So from a you said from as a technologist, from a technical perspective, do you think people, process, and tools can be established to ensure that you build governance on AI systems?
Yes, in the reactive perspective, as of today, and that's what we are here for, we have to build up structures which prevent exploitation of the minorities. See, what's happened is the core tech has been developed by some people. Certain models have come up, they are being used. The downstream applications, collection of data, thereafter modeling the data, using it in applications, it has to be governed and it has to be structured to ensure that the last man is not exploited, is not discriminated against. So for that, you can put up the 3 Ps, or you can put up your standard operating procedures. How will you collect data? The DPDP Act 2023 in India is a step towards that, though it is a little bit lesser than the EU as far as data collection is concerned. We need similar structures which can audit certain AI models. It's going to be very complex to audit those models, to audit those applications. And for that, you would require generative AI to synthesize data, put it through the simulations, and then pass it out rightly. It's going to be a complex task. It's not easy. But the model evaluation, applications which are using models at the back end have to be carefully sought out. While I talk about this, there are also a number of adversarial attacks against AI models which exist. And we have to ensure that applications have been safeguarded against those adversarial attacks. So therefore, there is a one layer on top of that cybersecurity with AI-enabled cybersecurity and cybersecurity enabled with AI models which have been hardened against adversarial attacks. That is another aspect. And thirdly, now everybody understands the importance of data, how people handle data. So there have to be audit mechanisms which ensure that whenever we are collecting data, they are anonymized, what parts of the data are being used, whether they are biased, unbiased, and what is the use case that they're being used for. We would have to set up separate structures for this to ensure that the applications actually deliver genuine good for people. And that's why we talk about the AI for good. Yeah.
So, Matt, on the, a leading question on that. So, bias becomes an important factor when it comes to, discrimination, or since we're using data from the past, right? And biases have been there, over a time, right? And even in the current situation when a decision is taken, there are biases which are there. And now, when we move into AI systems, and you would have biases coming there because of the data that was there in the past, right? How do you, anticipate this, change? Because you are trying to democratize now, so your data sets haven't changed. So how do you really, leverage the modern thinking or the philosophy of unbiasedness on the old data?
First of all, taking a cue from anonymization of the public data, I think it's very easy to, get a escape route through anonymization. Public data is not free, right? It's a data of the public, right? So if it is a data available on internet and it is so-called public data, should we have unrestricted usage of that data for the purposes of AI training or something? The answer is that we anonymize the data. Are you acknowledging the fact that you are using the public data? Are you going to reap back the benefit to the public for it? That's my question, right? When you are building a technology for the purpose of profit maximization, what is the collateral damage? Social equity is the collateral damage there. Does any of the companies so far has said that we have used the public data for this particular section of demography and we are going to provide certain benefit out of the profits that we are going to make? Nobody does that. Right? As a corporate law professor, I do talk about corporate social responsibility. I never enforce that corporate social responsibility in personal sense. But here comes the question that what is the limitation of the usage of the data? Is it legally contested? Yes. Is it ethically contested? Yes. Should there be a purpose limitation? What purpose you are using the data? My data is not free for everyone to be used just like that. Kindly acknowledge my data. Right? My loan application goes, who is deciding on the loan application as an individual? AI is deciding. There is no human arbiter there, right? And then on the basis of the AI decision, you decided that loan cannot be given to her. Right? The data is with you. Everything is with you. Right? So the point that you were raising, that how do we remove these biasness? The biasness can be removed only when you have certain sort of, sandboxes, regulatory sandboxes. You develop those kind of, machinery, kinds of softwares, regulatory softwares, where you have this information, okay, these are the legal principles, these are the moral principles. Obviously, we cannot go into the morality aspect, but at least from legal point of view, we do have law, we do have cultural, system, we do have our customary laws, we understand what kind of biasnesses are there. Can we not test it? We test our technology at technological levels, but we don't test it when it comes to application to human. So before applying it to human, just develop those regulatory sandboxes and take help of law universities or other law faculty members, and just see that whether it is going to be legally right, and to certain extent according to the customary rights. We are a country which has, customary laws, legal laws, ordinances, central laws, state laws, so many types of laws we have. Right? So why don't we have this kind of, testing facility developed also?
So what I understand from you is that it becomes very important to be able to monitor when you are, leveraging AI.
Yes, of course.
The right technology.
Yes, yes. And just to give you one example of, years back, I think decades back, there was this case of soap dispenser, discriminatory soap dispenser in US. Because the technology was that if the skin is fair, it will, transmit, reflect, and the soap will come. So a black woman goes there, she's not able to get the soap, right? So when we know that it's nothing new, this happens, then why don't we, create infrastructure to find these kind of biases and, avoid those biases and then bring the technology, develop the trust in the technology. That's the most important factor. Developing trust in the technology, developing trust in the regulatory system, I think that's the most important thing. Right?
Trust and accountability both become important.
Yes.
And maybe because we are short of time, one last question to both of you. Since you are a partner to Rajasthan government, how do you wish to participate in this process of helping them set up their AI systems?
Yes.
And do you as well from a technology standpoint, how do you help?
Yeah. So at NLU Jodhpur, we have taken a lead for law and technology. We have developed a center on law and technology and already started sensitizing and training our lawyers, because future-ready lawyers, they cannot shy away or fear from technology. So we are coming up with joint degree programs with IIT Jodhpur on law and technology, where lawyers and technologists both will be sensitized towards both the fields. And this is one thing. And also we have signed an MOU with the department so that we can give the training, the capacity building on legal aspects of responsible AI and the legal aspects of AI. And also because we do have legal aid cells which all universities are mandated to create awareness about legal systems. So we will be helping the state in creating the awareness about the legal, ethical AI, reaching out to the schools and the degree colleges and all other students. Yes.
Yeah, so at IIT Delhi, we have been actively engaging with the government departments, specifically the NIC department. And I think we have a case in point, we can actively engage with the Rajasthan government departments also. We conduct courses on ethical AI as a part of the advanced AI course, and ensure that they understand the deep-rooted concepts, because there are a lot of applications which the government is using. And the other aspect is that we are also looking at developing audit-based applications and test mechanisms using synthetic data to ensure that the various compliances are being met with. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. I'm not sure if you have time.
Over the coffee, they can interact.
Yeah, sure. We'll take that over coffee. Yeah. So thanks for joining us for this panel discussion, and wish we had more time, because I think we had lots of answers.
I had made a lot of points.
I'm sure. So I mean, while we're all working towards AI systems, building responsible and ethical AI systems become very important, which we can trust, which we build accountability around, and of course have frameworks so we are able to democratize AI with being just and and rightful to our users. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today, Amit. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Sir, please.
सॉरी भैया लगी आपको